Hi, I'm Chad with Move for Guitar. This lesson is from our series Chord Progressions for Beginners. In this lesson, I'm going to show you 5 popular chord progressions. If you don't understand chord progressions, the basic theory of them and what the numbers represent, start with the lesson before this, and there's a link on the screen you can click to watch it, where I give a basic overview of what chord progressions are and give you theory, a little theory behind it to help you understand it better, and that will really help you out if you don't understand chord progressions at all, because in this lesson I'm just going to jump into 5 popular chord progressions that I think you should learn that'll be really useful to you and you'll find in a lot of songs. And I'm going to show most of these to you in the key of G. I might show you some of them in the key of C as well, just to give you a little better understanding and be able to hear it in a different key. But I'll start with the key of G because it's a simple key. It's probably the first key you should learn as a beginner, the key of G and then the key of C. And those 2 keys you can play pretty much in any key if you have a capo. But starting with the key of G will be really useful for you to hear these chord progressions and keep it simple. So the first chord progression I'm going to show you is a 1-5-4. And in the key of G, the 1 is a G, 5 is a D, and the 4 is a C. So that's the progression. You can just keep repeating that over and over. And the rhythm and duration, how you hold the chords, is up to you. I'm just going to show you some different options, but how you play it is what will make it your own. So here is a 1-5-4. So I just repeated that, but it's G to D to C and then back to start over. And with any of these chord progressions, there's more than one option for playing these chords. For example, I played a G, D, C, just the regular chords, but I could have played a G, D sus4, C add 9. And it would still be a 1-5-4. I'm just using different chord extensions. So it changes the sound, but it's still a 1-5-4. So depending on the progression, I might use different chords, but I'm not going to do anything really crazy in these lessons. We have other lessons that'll get more into that. So the next progression you should learn is a 1-4-5, which is a G, a C, and a D. So it's the same chords as the last one, it's just I reverse the order of the 4 and the 5. So here's a 1-4-5 in the key of G. And that time I just played a G, C add 9, and D sus4, but it's still a 1-4-5. So the next one is a 1-4-5-4, which is the same as the last one, but we're going to go back to that C chord before we go back to the 1. So the chords would be G, C, D, and then back to C, and then to the 1. And again, the rhythm that I'm playing, the strumming pattern, the duration I hold the chords can change. That's up to you. I'm just showing you the actual progressions and just giving you some different examples of rhythms and strumming patterns. So the next one, number 4, is a 1-4-1-5. So a G, C, back to G, then to D in the key of G. And then the next one for this lesson is going to change up. I'm not going to start on the 1 this time. I'm going to start on a 4. So it's going to be a 4-5-1 in the key of G. So this time it'll be a C major to start with, a D major, and then the G. So that would sound like this. So those are 5 popular chord progressions that you should learn. Start with them in the key of G, and in later lessons I'll show you how to move them to other keys. But get them down in one key and you'll really be able to get the sound down in your head. And G is a really good key to start off with as a beginner. And with these you'll be able to make up your own songs, and you'll find them in tons of different songs. Also, like I mentioned in the first lesson, don't be afraid to combine these progressions. You could use one for the verse, you could use another one for the chorus, another one for the bridge, or you could combine them together just for one part. You could combine a couple of these chord progressions together just for a verse. So play around with them, and I'm sure you'll find a lot of different songs out of them and a lot of things you can do with them that sound really good. Also, another thing I should mention is that you don't have to run through these chord progressions as written. You could repeat 2 chords over and over again and then go to the next chords. So if I was playing number 3, which is a 1-4-5-4, I could go from G to C, back to G and C multiple times before I go to the next chords. So I could go. So there I just repeated the G and the C add 9 multiple times before I went to the D sus4 and then back to the C add 9. So that was a 1-4-5-4, except really it was a 1-4-1-4, however many times I did it, then a 5-4. So don't be afraid to repeat different chords, a couple chords multiple times, or even more, 3 chords multiple times before you go to the next chord. So that's 5 popular chord progressions. In the next lesson I'll teach 5 more. But get these down first and you'll find them really useful. And be sure to subscribe because we add at least one new lesson every day.